All right. Hello, everyone. How is everyone on this fine Wednesday hump day? Hopefully well. If you guys don't know, you're in the right place. You're at our Dr. Jess and Kim Rogers live Parasite call. We're going to discuss all the things and have a little Q&A for you guys at the end. So it's sort of an exciting day. I hope all you guys are excited about this. It's actually, you don't have to be a Wellness Plus member. You don't have to be part of any sort of Facebook, Instagram secret group. You don't have to, pay a fee. This is for everyone to join and learn. And if you guys like what the information and knowledge we're providing to you, we'll have answers and solutions for you at the end, and even some, like I mentioned, the Q&A where you guys feel free to leave your cameras off if you don't feel comfortable and ask us questions, or we can even chat in the chat box, which I've seen people like that even more sometimes. So, Kim, yeah, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. I haven't gotten to talk to you in a long time. Kim and I are actually friends. We've met in real life a few times. So we're not just Instagram buddies. We actually do know each other. And when I was in Connecticut, Kim and her husband came to visit, and myself and my business partner, and we went out to dinner and all kinds of things. So she's actually a friend of mine as well. And I personally really love her story because she is someone that by the way, you guys, say yes in the chat if you guys know Kim Rogers' story. Do you guys know who Kim Rogers is? The Worm Queen, as you can see in her name
Sure.
in quotations here. I love it, Worm Queen. She just
You
embraces
can call
it.
me on my alternate number, eight three
Oh,
two
sorry,
six
guys. Make
nine
sure
one
you're
seven zero five zero.
whoever's talking about alternate numbers, I can hear you. You're not muted. Thanks. Sorry. Okay. So, you guys, some of you guys, oh, it only allows you to direct message me. Thank you guys for letting me know. Now you can message everyone so everyone can see in the group chat. Um, so yeah, some of you guys do know Kim's story. It's really one of my favorite stories, Kim. I don't mean to say it, because I don't like to hear anybody that's sick, but she is someone that if you don't know what alchemize means, or ta that means taking a bad situation that really beats you down and you don't know if you have answers for, and you feel pretty hopeless and helpless, and taking that and turning that into a positive outcome somehow for you and your family. And that's what Kim did in her situation. So, Kim, I'm going to let you take the floor really quick, and tell everyone who you are. If you guys don't know about Kim Rogers, she's got a fabulous parasite cleanse. It's one of my favorites on the market. And I love her story because it's really a story of success and beautiful outcomes, Kim. I don't know what else to say. I'll let you take the floor.
Well, thanks. A great introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Rogers, and I went viral over on TikTok in 21. I have been doing this every day since 21, and I created my own parasite cleanse because there just wasn't anything out there on the market that I personally wanted to take for myself and let alone talk about it with other people. So I created my own business where we manufacture our own products. We're third party tested, and a lot of this has to do with because Dr. Jess is so amazing and her community, and it really showed me how important what I'm doing is because I was also sick and I come from Western medicine myself and I couldn't get any help. So I tried to find as many ways that I could help my body over the last 4 years. I was dying in the woods. I had parasites, mold, chronic Lyme. I now know I have autoimmune encephalitis because I have pandas. And so I learned all of this about myself from learning to cleanse. And my husband was sick as well, which just was the most difficult thing for me because my husband's my caretaker and I never want to see him ill. And so something was making him sick. So it made me deep dive into life and figure out what was going on with me. And again, that's what made me create this parasite cleanse and go viral because I'm here to teach people how to be your own patient advocate and fight for your sovereignty and really have a good understanding of why you're chronically ill, whether it's just parasites or, in my case, a multitude of things that thank God for Dr. Jess, because I would never have been able to figure out all of those things on my own. So I just really want to help people and give you options. And I want to give you the best organic, ethically sourced tinctures that can be made out there. And we make them ourselves to make sure that the quality stays that way. But my story is very similar to most stories in Western medicine world, where I was seeking help. I had stage 4 endometriosis, beginning stages of cervical cancer. I had a hysterectomy when I was 29 years old, 13 surgeries, and in 2019, I still was not well, and I could not have any more surgeries. So my husband and I decided to leave, quote unquote, the matrix. He left his job, I quit my job, and we went out to our recreational property to figure out what was wrong with me. And we found out that mushrooms are amazing, by the way, and it really helped lead me down a mental health path of realizing that I needed to cleanse my body. But we had worms in our water, and it was making us sicker. And we lived in a moldy travel trailer while we were building. So we were just compounding more and more onto my health. And then we realized that you have to cleanse your bodies and that we really need a fighting chance in order for us to reset our bodies. So that's where I'm at after doing this for 3 years now. Feels like just yesterday. But that's really a big part of who I am, and also a little bit more of a backstory of me. I come from Western medicine. I've been in Western medicine since 2004. I was a professor and I ran 25 healthcare colleges. I authored books. I was on advisory boards. Like overall, my life has been dedicated to medicine, and now it's just dedicated to helping people understand medicine and how you understand your body better.
Correct. Exactly. Thanks, Kim, for giving everybody that backstory. I think most of the people on the call, they probably know both of us. But I just wanted everyone to hear how sick you were,
Yeah.
and how much it was kind of fighting an uphill battle, because I think a lot of people on this call probably feel similarly with their health. They don't really know where to start. It's really hard to see yourself. And that includes all facets of yourself, including the physical body. It's really hard to kind of understand where to start, where to get on top of things, what to go after first. And one of the things that I was not taught about in school in conventional medicine was parasites.
Mhm.
I was taught that you could only get them in third world countries. And I don't know if anyone's looked around the US lately. We don't have very great birth rates anymore, fertility rates anymore. Um, our food definitely isn't the cleanest in the world. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying we're, a third world country, but I don't think parasites know about borders.
No. They don't know about borders, don't learn about them. And being in the academic world, I can tell you, it's not something I taught. You got 3 minutes, and digging in on my own personal side of things and teaching lab technicians, I know they only get 3 minutes. If they don't see anything, they just immediately mark it as negative. But there's
Oh,
a
wow.
caveat on the labs that say this is not in lieu of a parasitic infection. So we don't even have proper testing in Western medicine countries to allow us to know that this could be a potential cause. And so learning all of this was shocking because my
Hmm.
teachings and my academic side is still going in certain parts of the healthcare system. So it's kind of like, well, how can I correct this on my own? And then how can I correct this for society to understand that you should just be cleansing because we are exposed to it and our bodies don't have a break, really. We never get a break. We're constantly in defense mode.
Well,
And
since you brought that up, let's talk about where do you get parasites actually?
well, sushi, if you've watched my accounts.
Yeah, I think I went to actually Costco the other day with my business partner Nicholas, and I picked up the salmon and said, "Oh wow, they have wild caught salmon here." And he said, "Do not buy that." Like he said it just like that. Do not buy that.
a
And
week.
he said, Kim Rogers did a video on just that fish. So I think you have successfully influenced many people in this area.
And sorry,
So,
salmon. Salmon
yeah.
is my favorite. If you guys even understood how much I loved salmon, like I just can't ever bring myself to eat it again. It's so difficult, but it tastes so good. It really
I
does.
definitely won't eat it in sushi. I will say I know I eat it because really guys to prevent sushi or prevent parasites in sushi, we'd have to clean up a lot of our oceans and lake waters and things like that because when the smaller fish are contaminated, the bigger fish are eating them. It's a vicious cycle. Oh, can you guys mute your mics, please? Thanks. So I would say, fish needs to be frozen for at least 10 days to 2 weeks, at, you know, very cold temperatures to get rid of parasites, and to kill parasites off. So just keep that in mind that fresh fish isn't always what you want because the train the fish came out of is often toxic, and that's why the fish are carrying things like heavy metals and the parasites. That's why the parasites are there. Okay, so sushi is a big one. We want to watch out for that.
Raw produce. Raw produce is a big one because you don't
Oh,
they're cleaning it. You don't know. You don't know what kind of produce where it came from, especially, and I'm not hating on organic, but organic doesn't have anything sprayed on, which is really great, but you also really need to have it clean because they live on it. So when you go to another country, especially, they say don't eat raw produce because it is a huge way to pick up a parasite. And it's the same here in our country
mm-hmm.
because our water is also somewhat contaminated. My water was a lot of the places I've tested water, so they're cleaning their produce with contaminated water. Um,
Mm,
Walking barefoot outside, and I say to ground, but you got to be conscientious about where you're grounding. Did an animal go to the bathroom there? Have you cleaned that grounding area while you're walking on it? And your pets. We deworm our dogs, we deworm our animals because they're down on the ground, but then we let them lick us and we clean up after them and they lay in our bed. So it's really just about educating yourself and knowing that you're gonna just need to cleanse with them, really.
yeah, that's a good point, is that, especially if you have a dog or letting an animal sleep in your bed, you probably need to be dual parasite cleansing, I'd say. And that goes for the whole family, right?
Because you can, they're contagious in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I tell people, if you live in the same house, you really share a microbiome,
Hmm.
with family members and animals oftentimes. I mean, I don't know, some people, that much to people's dismay, I would think. But yeah, so that can definitely happen. Okay, so contaminated food, contaminated water, really, sushi, pets. Okay.
Pork. I mean, RFK Jr. 7 months ago announced that he had a tapeworm in his brain and he got it from undercooked pork. So
Yep.
pork is a really big one. A lot of people get that. So because it's, the animal is in its own you know, to the bathroom. So it's just really being conscientious about our food.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't avoid everything.
Right.
People will say things like, "Well, parasites have been around since humans," which is true. They have a divergent path from us, but they are just as old as us, which means they're not bad at their job of hiding.
Right.
Right. And I would say it's gotten worse. Parasites, some people say parasites are your friends. I disagree. Parasites make byproducts like ammonia in high amounts, which is good for no one's brain or body. But parasites do serve a purpose in digesting things, like heavy metals and things like that in the body. So I always tell people if you're full of toxins and trauma, you're going to be more susceptible, to being a host for things like parasitic infections,
Right.
unfortunately. So just general cleansing, making sure you're kind of living a non-toxic lifestyle. You're doing, your shadow work and your trauma work to help get rid of all that stuff that can be stored in the body. Then you're making yourself less hospitable. But,
Yep.
even our ancestors cleansed, how many times a year?
I mean, at least 3 to 4 times a year. if
Yeah.
not monthly, because they knew they were being exposed. And other countries cleanse. They don't call it a cleanse always. Mexico uses an anti-parasitic a couple of times a year because they know that their water, you wouldn't drink water there. So they
Right.
know that their water is contaminated. They know that that contaminates their food as well. So, it's just really about education and understanding that they really are doing their job.
Yes.
They're decomposers. There's something going on in your body that is making them do their job. And for me particularly, I do know what they're trying to break down for me. But in an overall symptom status for me, it was out of control. And that's when I was getting sicker and sicker.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense because you can get a high infestation of parasites and they can produce byproducts that are really toxic to brain function, to life in general. So being overrun by parasites is never a good thing. 1000%. Yeah. I guess let's go over some symptoms of parasites for people. I think a lot of people know probably on this call, but just as a refresher, what have you noticed that when you had parasites, what were some of your symptoms, Kim?
Grinding my teeth, that was a really big one. A lot of people don't realize that grinding your teeth is a symptom. Insomnia for me was terrible. I slept during the day, and because they're nocturnal creatures, I now know why I was up all night long and would sleep during the day. Skin issues, I have really great skin. And as I got more and more into the infection, my skin would have these weird bumps and they would never go away. So
Mm.
I thought it was acne, but it wasn't. So skin issues was a big one for me. Eating and being bloated right after I eat. I could eat a salad and I felt like I was pregnant.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was a big one for me because I couldn't lose weight. And anything I ate, I bloated right away. And so it wasn't adding up. I didn't understand why everything was the way it was. So, um, my anxiety was terrible, terrible. My
Mm.
trauma, I had a lot of trauma, but I could never get out of the vicious cycle of trauma. And it all stemmed from my self-worth. And so
Mhm.
once I started to realize that they're not just stealing my nutrients, but they're stealing my energy and they live off of that trauma and they live off of that traumatic energy and frequency,
Yep.
it was really a game changer for me.
Yeah, I tell people all the time actually that the adrenaline, noradrenaline, flight or fight hormones that the body produces, actually keeps your body hospitable to things
Mhm.
like parasites. Epstein-Barr virus is another one that really flares in times of stress. We all know herpes viruses occur during stress. You can see in cold sores and things like that, and shingles, and this is no different. So really, Epstein-Barr virus, parasites, things like that, they can live off those stress hormones. And so if you're someone who's stuck in flight or fight or freeze, which is more common than flight or fight, then, you may be kind of more of a sitting duck to some of these persistent, recurrent pathogens.
I was living in a lost type of life. Like I felt lost because I was so sick. I had no contact with my family. And so they thrived off of me. And I wasn't thriving. They were living rent free in my body. And I couldn't gain control of it until I ended up figuring out that just a little bit of wormwood, a little bit of black walnut hole really assisted me in pushing me to dig deeper into what I needed to do to take care of myself, which I've done a 180. My life is totally different today than it was 3 years ago because I've worked on all of the things, but my first step was definitely getting rid of the parasites and in all the ways.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing too, you bring up a good point is that parasites are usually the first thing I recommend after nervous system regulation, to go after when the detoxing and drain or the drainage is open, the detoxing needs to begin. So, you really want to look for any way that you can not necessarily decrease stress in our lives because we can't always do that, but how do you mitigate the perception of stress? Because we all go through it, we all get hit horribly. I don't know about you guys, but 2024 felt like I was awake during surgery. So, we all get hit by the bus sometimes of stress in life, but how do you stand like a tree in the wind, and stable and not let your emotional regulation fly off the handle? Because that's really where we start to get sick. So that's the first thing to make a protocol stick is really looking at that. Then screening for roadblocks, things like mercury fillings, root canals, breast implants, scars, trauma, all that kind of stuff, mold in the house. And
Hmm.
then finally, opening drainage. So really looking to making sure you're pooping okay, you're sweating okay. Um, that looks like a bottle of vodka. I'm just
I was
kidding.
just gonna finish drinking. Hey, listen,
Just
I
kidding.
get that all the time. This is not. This is medical grade water, but it totally looks like vodka. I was on the
It's
call
so funny.
with our CPA and I was drinking. I'm like, he goes, "Is that vodka?" I'm like, I mean, I'm stressed, but like, no, this is water.
It's like, I know, I totally knew you weren't drinking vodka, but I just thought it was funny. It does look like that.
It's really great water in case anybody wants to have like a real, I only have to drink half of that and it's equivalent to hydrating with 32 ounces of water. So
Oh, wow. That's
into like
amazing.
full restructuring of water. I'm totally diving into different levels of water and how water hydrates your body and making sure it's alive. And so I've been into the water world the
I
last.
love that. Okay, very cool. Yeah, structured water, you guys, it gets into the cells. It's very important.
Yeah, very.
Um, yeah, okay. So I was right in the middle of, I don't even remember what I was saying now.
We
Um,
were talking.
wow. I
What
just
were we talking
completely,
about?
I completely got sidetracked.
The vodka threw you off.
Yeah, it really did. Um, so yeah, shoot, I don't even remember now about what I was talking about with parasites. Oh, so the opening drainage, so making sure you can sweat, making sure you can poop okay, your bile and your liver function are working properly, or as improved as you can get it. And then after that, the first thing you want to go after is parasites, in my opinion. And that's because so many of the animal studies, mostly animal studies, have shown that the fish carry 6 times more of the heavy metals than you would expect them to because they have parasites that are digesting the metals. And things like mold spores have been found inside parasites. It's different environmental toxicities, different Lyme bacteria have been found in parasites. And so usually during parasite cleanses, you can pull so much more than just, parasites.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's why I did the Parafite kit because there are so many different levels of parasites, viruses, the heavy metals. And in my case, I found out I had mold in my
Mm.
travel trailer while we were building. Actually, you helped me find that out. And so what I had done is I had like really worked hard for a year getting rid of the parasites out of my body, and the mold started to take over my body. And so it was really hard because wormwood suppresses mold, but it
Hey,
suppressed it
Mark, it's Kelly at Midlands. I was calling about that.
that
Oh,
allowed
whoops.
me to,
DOT random crew
Oh,
tomorrow, Thursday
hold
night.
on. I'll mute it. There
no
we
worries.
go.
It
Okay, go ahead.
allowed me to realize that I had mold. So I boosted my body enough. Then all of a sudden the mold started taking over. My eyes started to swell shut. And then I realized that I was living in mold. And so,
Mm,
but they were holding those spores. And then as soon as I
right.
left, I got rid of them. They were dropping the spores, and then there was another opportunist coming in.
They're opportunists. That's right. That's what they are, literally opportunists. So yeah, that's why generally true. Parasites can hold so many different pathogens and toxicities in general because they digest things. So we've even heard a lot of the different ancient healers like Tibetan medicine doctors and Chinese medical doctors say that parasites digest scar tissue in the body. So if you had an injury or surgery, even a little keloid that forms after, any sort of surgery is scar tissue trying to make the body stronger. And so the ancient doctors will say that they digest scar tissue too. And so the problem is when you're overrun with them. And so many people are sensitive now that there's so many toxins that are ubiquitous out in the environment. So it's really hard to avoid anything.
Didn't
So,
know about the scar tissue. That makes really big sense for endometriosis and adenomyosis patients because
mm,
we create a lot of that scar tissue. That's the whole purpose of behind that disease.
yeah.
And I was riddled with parasites and I had stage 4
Oh,
endometriosis,
that's
even with the
right.
hysterectomy. So I had stage 4 endometriosis, beginning stages of cervical cancer, and 13 surgeries after my hysterectomy. I had 5 before my hysto, and I had 5 after my hysterectomy. And I had a
Wow.
breast reduction, which also created a lot of scar tissue. And so it makes sense
Mm.
that they eat that scar tissue and live in it because it's literally just sitting there with bacteria and trauma sitting in it.
Right.
I
Because I
go
mean,
there.
the
Mhm.
trauma is what caused the scar to begin with,
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's literally like an emotional scar versus a physical scar. It's still a scar that your body has to kind of patch up in a certain way. And so, if they're there to digest that unhealthy fascia sometimes, the thickened collagen or connective tissue, right?
yeah,
So it's just interesting that the ancient docs say that, the older docs in Eastern medicine.
yeah. Well, they do know. They do know.
They do know, don't they?
I mean,
So
they've been around longer than all of the Western. So,
5,000 years plus, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, I think we can kind of open it up to questions now, unless you have anything else you'd like to cover first, Kim. Did I
No.
leave anything out? I know that people have been asking questions in the chat box, and I did want to address one of the questions I saw. Um, just so you guys know, one of the roadblocks that I recommend testing for, besides root canals and mercury fillings and breast implants, is mold in the home, water damage in the home. That doesn't mean that I necessarily detox mold first, but sometimes to open drainage and be successful with parasites, you really have to get out of the water damaged house. So sometimes that will keep your immune system from responding properly to things. And so really to be successful, I mean, sometimes people are sensitive. I can't even get them to poop right until I get them out of the water damaged house. It just depends on the person. So really, yeah, you want to look and make sure you don't have water damage in your house. But if you don't, or even if you do, you don't want to detox mold first. You just want to get out of the offending factor, which is the house. Yeah. Hope that helps clarify for you guys. If you guys want, there's a little react button at the bottom. Do you guys see at the bottom of the Zoom screen, there's a little react button. If you click that, you'll see that at the bottom it says raise hand. So if you guys want to do that, you can come on screen. You can leave your video off if you want. You can actually ask your question to us so we can hear your voice. Or if you're not comfortable, you can write it in the chat. But I would love to kind of hear your guys' voice at least. Jennifer,
Hi, Dr. Jess. Hi, Kim. How are you guys doing?
we're good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. I actually have my Parasite kit ready. So I'm excited to try this out with the parasite thing. My question is, my husband and I have been trying to conceive for a number of years, and we never like avoid the opportunity to try. So I know that it's not a good idea during pregnancy. However, there's that 2 week wait where we don't know. So in order to do it for the 30 days, I might be overthinking this too much. I don't know, but I just wanted to make sure, like, what would be your 2 cents during that 2 week wait? Is it okay to still do the 30-day during that time and then that's it? Or I don't know if you can give me your 2 cents on that.
Most fertility docs will tell you that they would love to see you be done cleansing 3 months out before you get pregnant. That's the disclaimer that I think most of the fertility docs would say. Okay. Um, I'm not saying to do this either way, but you have to take into account there are some people who are out drinking every night at bars until they realize they're pregnant too. And that's not a great thing. Obviously, no one should be doing that. But there are people who take Tylenol and Advil every day until they find out they're pregnant, right? There are lots of different offending things that people do that seem to turn out okay in the end. I don't think any of these herbs are extremely, extremely. There's a couple that you don't want to take in pregnancy, like wormwood, you really don't want to take in pregnancy. you
Hmm.
know? Um, I can't really say, would I do it? I probably would. But, there are lots of people who don't feel comfortable with that. And I think that, if you can do like an extended cleanse where it's like, anywhere from like 3 to 4 months, you might be able to stop after that and not have to do. I mean, where are you in the cleanse right now?
I haven't started it. I just got it last week. So,
Okay, okay.
and my husband got one too. So we were going to do it together at the same time.
Were you just planning on doing a month long?
I was going to start out with that. And then when I read Kim's, the form stuff that came in the email, I saw that it's recommended to do another one like 2 weeks later or something. So I was going to see how the first one goes. And then as long as I handle it well, then I would grab another kit and do another one.
Okay. I mean, I would say go for it for right now, you know? I mean, you're
Yeah.
not pregnant. Go for it right now and then really start. I mean, I'm not telling you to avoid trying, but maybe really go for it after the second kit, you know? It's two
Okay.
months, and that would
Yeah.
be the people really do have the things I've seen people be successful at for with fertility are detoxing and cleansing, and then oftentimes they get pregnant, working on the nervous system, and then fixing any cavitations or teeth issues.
Yeah. And I'm going through Primal Trust right now
Great.
for the nervous system. And I've done all the stuff the past 6 years. Like I work
Amazing.
with hormones with women and my husband's gotten checked. We've done all the things. So I'm like, could this be one of the last ones? I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked to just see what happens. So
I'm
thank you.
excited for you. Yeah, keep us posted. Good luck.
I'm
Thank you.
Absolutely.
excited
Have a good
for you
one.
too, Jennifer. We have a lot of success stories because once you get rid of something that's alive in your body to help cater to something that you want to bring life to, it really does help. I got a quick story to tell you about
Mhm.
his name is Tyler and his um, wife and him were trying for 3 years. He's our bottle guy. He sells us our bottles. And I said, why don't you just give it a try? Like, what harm is it going to be? Well, they have a 1.5-year-old boy now.
Aw.
And it really was a life-changing event for them to just really be able to cleanse out their body.
That's amazing. I'm hopeful because we know the infertility mainly falls on my husband's side, is what we found. But he has done all the things besides, I don't know. Yeah, he's done all the things, all the protocols, CoQ10, Shilajit, like all kinds of stuff. And but he also has colitis. So I do tend to wonder, and he's done some testing that shows possible parasites. So um, yeah, so we're hopeful. We'll see.
Yeah, he needs it, maybe. He needs it.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
convinced him to do it with us. With me.
Good job. Good
Awesome.
job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's see here. Brianna, hello.
Hi, I guess I'm on the other side of her question. I'm about 8 months postpartum, and I've been having, I was on three different antibiotics after I had the baby within a few couple of months. And so I was having some gut issues, and then I started kind of cutting some different things out of my diet. And I feel like the next thing is kind of a cleanse on that route, but I don't know, like with breastfeeding if you guys recommend of anything to kind of start with. I'm kind of newer to all of that too. So, but it's been coming up a lot for me about the parasites and different things. So, yeah, any recommendations with that? I was wondering.
Kim, do you usually advise people about breastfeeding with your supplements?
Yeah, you can't breastfeed. It's a pathway. And so we say not pregnant, no breastfeeding. Under the age of 3, we are good for over the age of 3. So, and no chemo meds and no blood thinners. Those are and it's not Parafy in general. It's actually wormwood and Oregon grapefruit that really dictate what we tell you when you can't. So
Mm.
we, we recommend researching that on your own, but that's how we have to recommend it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
welcome. Good luck. Jacqueline, hello.
Hi, how are you?
You're good. How are you?
This is just so fantastic. I am loving this conversation. So I have a few questions. So after cleansing, what is a way to be inhospitable to parasites? 2024 was my year of parasites. I've kind of done off and on different types of things to get rid of them. I work with a KA specialist, done a lot of muscle testing, and just keeps popping up parasites, different treatments. I've done a parasite kit last year. Anyways, I've got them again on December 31st. Yay, bringing in the new year. I
Mm.
got contaminated with some cooked crab meat.
Oh,
But so I just keep getting infected with different things after we clear them. So I am trying to figure out how to be inhospitable to parasites once I do another cleanse.
are you actually being tested or are they just muscle testing?
They've muscle tested, and then I've taken specific herbs based on what I'm testing as. But I did do just a 30-day parasite kit over the summer. But hearing that it's good to do two back to back is really helpful. I'll definitely consider
Yeah,
that as
I mean,
well.
our parasite cleanse sometimes for people 4 to 6 months, because
Okay.
parasites' life cycles make them very difficult to kill, depending on
Hmm.
what you're dealing with. I will also say that with muscle testing, um, it's only as good as the practitioner that's muscle testing. So you may want to get a second opinion. The other thing that can come up parasites with muscle testing are people. So if you have parasitic people or people that are leechy in your life, you can have to deal with recurrent actual parasites too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know if that's helpful. Um, Kim, would you like to speak on this at all too?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of times we think that just because we do a cleanse or we're following through with them, that we're getting rid of them. But in fact, they're always around us,
Hmm.
including in our food, as we've talked. So doing one here or there is, in my opinion, we've never cleansed before. This is not a ritual that Western medicine countries have told us to do. So it's easy to catch them. It's easy for them to become disrupted and become even more in our bodies. And just because you eat them once, they can multiply and they're sneaky. So that's why I say 3 to 4 times a year, every season, go in, reset your body. And if you have symptoms after you do the Parafy kit, even a few days later or while you're still on it, you're still having symptoms, you just keep going. I cleansed almost every day for a year. Now, I'm not
Wow.
recommending that. It's not the medical advice, but I do know that I feel better. I look better. My skin is better overall. And I still take anti-parasitic herbs every day just to make sure because I do eat questionably when I'm traveling. I do eat crab. And so I take my Parafy usually before I eat the crab just to make my body still inhospitable inside while I'm digesting it. I really do all of the things to push it out as best I can.
So you kind of do like a maintenance um kind of dosing, and that is just of the Parafy.
Yeah, I do Parafy Sustain and Metal Flush. So I'll do my 30 days, and then in between my 30 days, I'll do like a 7 day over the full moon. And then if I'm traveling, I know I'm going to come home and do a few days. The herbs aren't going to hurt you. That's where I think we forget how great herbs are and how they boost your body. So it's okay to take it prophylactically. It's okay to take it when you've eaten something questionable, just to continue to push your body to be inhospitable. It's like eating an anti-parasitic food like pumpkin seed. You put it on your salads so that it gets in your body and it's digesting and it's helping from keeping the parasites from landing and making yourself a home.
I've
Also,
eaten so many pumpkin seeds. Yes.
also, Jacqueline, remember being stuck flight in flight, fight, or freeze also can make you a little more hospitable to parasites and viruses too.
Yes, that was great to hear because I know that's something that I struggle with.
Yeah, so that also could be adding to some of it too. And don't forget things like teeth issues, root canals, things like that can add to this as well.
Great.
Yeah.
One other question. I know that you had said fresh produce is a way that that can come in. Is there a recommendation for a proper way to clean fresh produce, or should you just kind of stick to frozen?
I mean, for me, apple cider vinegar is a great way. There's some ozonate, there's some Therasage makes you a little ozone bubbler, which is helpful too. And that will definitely kill most of them as well.
I have a
Okay.
soap if you guys want to write it down. I have this, I
Ooh.
love cleaning produce. I went viral over it. And so for 3 years now, I love to talk about it. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes, tell
It's
us.
it's 2 cups of white vinegar, a half of a lime, and 2 tablespoons of sea salt. I like Baja Gold. That's my favorite. And then it remineralizes the produce. I let it sit in a gallon of distilled or filtered water for 5 to 10 minutes. And then I bring in my Therasage bubbler and I bubble it next
Yeah.
because so much crap comes off of our produce. It's disgusting. Even with that 5 to 10 minute soak, I rinse it and then I do the bubbler and there's still stuff that comes off of our produce. So I
Wow.
highly recommend soaking it as much as possible. The Baja Gold actually remineralizes some of our produce. And so you're kind of getting a bio stacking hack that's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Can you
I
say
like
that
that.
one more time? The
Sure.
ingredients.
2 cups of white vinegar, a
Mhm.
half of a lime, 2 tablespoons of sea salt, 1 gallon of filtered or distilled water, and let it soak for 5 to 10 minutes. Get yourself that $100 ozone machine from Therasage. You rinse it and then you throw it in that water that you threw in your Therasage, and your produce will last longer. It'll color up more because it's removing that bacteria. It crisps up. My grapes will stay good for about 10 days. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just, the produce just tastes better.
Love that. Love that,
That's
guys.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Pro tip. Yeah, you're welcome, Jacqueline. Rashika, hi.
Hi, I'm sorry about my initial. I was on a call wait with somebody, so sorry I bothered your
No.
recording. But I'm currently doing the Verify. I'm doing the entire kit. So thank you so much for creating something as simple as that. Um, I grew up in India and, just doing parasite cleanses, as you mentioned, in third world was just a part of the routine. It was just something that I grew up with. So my quick question is, I'm not, I started on the 17th of December, so almost close to, I kind of timed it with the full moon last month. Um, so it's close to 3 weeks right now. I haven't experienced anything as such. I do live a pretty clean lifestyle by and large, but I haven't done a parasite cleanse or deworming for multiple years. So should I be? I see images of people passing the parasites when they do the fulvic acid. I did get it, but should I be seeing it, or if I don't see it, it's still okay?
Still okay. If you're not
Okay.
seeing something, it's still okay. Um, Everybody's different. We all have, you have parasites that are microscopic, you have physical worms that are nematodes. Some people have that, some people don't, some people have both. Sometimes when you just start to make them aware that you're aware, they are not coming out just yet. And so some people will see things pass when they're not on the cleanse. You also have done this in the past where a lot of us have not. So they're already in your body aware that you're aware. And so they might not be disrupted right now, but in a couple of weeks they could be disrupted and you're not on a cleanse. So it can kind of come at any point.
Got it. So should I be repeating it like yearly, quarterly? What would you suggest? And when I say I've done it in the past, I haven't done it for 15 years, but I've done it in the past.
3 to 4 times a year is what we recommend. We talk about it doing it seasonally. So right now we're starting a group cleanse and we do them every 3 months, but it really is what your body tells you as well. But I recommend 3 to 4 times a year just to really get in and get after it. Just fresh start, reset, make sure that you're getting all the critters. But no, what did you do in India? I want to know what you did.
So we used to use like a Nova worm. It was more like a menbendazole kind of a
Oh, okay.
thing.
So
So
good.
it was just over the counter. And I did that even when I moved to the States when my kids were younger. I would just, every trip to India, it was just because it's third world, I would think that just bring two and it's a dose of two. Basically, you do it at a weekly interval. It's menbendazole, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Very
should be,
nice.
yeah.
But it's over the counter, so it's easy to get it. But,
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
very
Thank
cool.
you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rashika. Hi, Sarah. Oh, Sarah's iPhone. Let's see if I can ask to unmute.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, you're
I was trying to
welcome.
figure out how to unmute.
It worked.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. Oh no. Oh shoot. Sorry. Sarah, I think I accidentally muted you. Let me see here. I didn't mean to. Hold on. There. Oh boy. I don't know how to unmute her now because she's not up at the top again. Ah,
Okay.
sorry. There we go.
I think I'm
Yes.
unmuted.
There we
Okay.
go, Sarah. Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Jess you've been a huge help to me. And then I've just recently discovered Kim. I actually had really bad endometriosis too. And they wanted me to get a hysterectomy. And thanks to my husband, he's like, don't just go get something cut out before you do some research. And it was parasites.
No
Like
way.
my periods are not even painful anymore. It's amazing. It's like blown me away. So, that being said, I'm going to be going out of the country to Grenada, which is, a developing country. And I'm going to be working there for about a month. So I'm trying to get ahead of it. Do you have any recommendations like before I go or while I'm there, what I can do to protect myself, basically?
I always travel with my Parafy.
Okay.
Always, yeah. Because the thing about the Parafy herbs, I did a reel about this recently on Instagram, is they're not just for parasites, they cover all things like bacteria and viruses too. So the minute if I feel like coming down with the scratchy throat or anything from being on a plane, I can take these herbs and they pretty much knock it out. So just make sure you take the kit with you. I would also take a binder.
Okay.
To kind of mop up whatever you're killing off, or, if you have a drink, if you're out, something like that, it'd be really nice to have that on hand too.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the binder
Mhm.
and then the Parafy are different, right? Because I haven't ordered Kim's protocol yet. I
Oh,
did the um, microbial formulas.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Microbe formulas.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
Parafy has a binder. So it's
Okay.
Parafy, Sustain, Metal Flush, and Cinnabon. And Cinnabon's our binder. So I recommend taking the kit with you and you just doing it while you're there. If
Okay.
you start getting die-offs and stuff, just take breaks, but it will keep your body at bay while you're in another country and limit
Hmm.
yourself to ice that's in your drinks, any
Hmm.
water. Just be really conscientious about what you're eating raw wise, produce, and make sure your food is cooked. And if you do eat produce, eat it cooked, just because, you know, it's just it can create more parasitic issues. So that's
Okay. And
Yeah.
I have like a travel size Berkey filter. Do you think that's good to have with me? I mean, I don't know if we'll get parasites out, but
I know it does 99% of pathogens. I'm not sure about parasites, how much they've tested the Berkey against parasites right offhand. But that's better than nothing for sure.
okay.
Yeah, for sure. And then, also, Sarah, if you can get your vitamin D levels checked. I notice people who get sick while they're traveling a lot often have vitamin D's less than, 40 most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good
if
luck.
the Berkey has a 40 micron or smaller filter. So look
Mm.
at the filter size of any filters, and a nematode is 40 microns. If you can get a filter that's 5 microns or smaller, it will filter everything out. So I travel with a shower filter,
Mm.
and it's a 2 micron shower filter. And I put it on my shower, and then I use that water when I wash my face, brush my teeth. So it's all in one when I travel. But yeah, just look at the micron size.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
congrats on your
welcome.
endo. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
Lynn, hello.
Hello.
Hi, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay, great. I have my earpiece, so I wasn't sure if you could hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, prior to cleansing, is it recommended that you change your diet? Should you just be eating the same way, or is there any dietary changes that we need to do while cleansing? And then also, what is your recommendation on coffee enemas to help with cleansing? And if so, how often is it safe to do the coffee enemas?
So the first part of the question was the coffee enemas in the first part again, one more time.
As far as diet, is it
Oh,
recommended
diet.
to change your diet? While you're parasite cleansing, is it, any dietary restrictions, or can you just eat like you normally do?
Kim, do you want to take that one about diet with the cleanse?
Yeah, so there's three P's that you want to try and conquer when you're starting a cleanse. Peeing, pooping, and perspiring. You want to open up pathways. Exactly, it's for, right? So the P's. With that said, in order to do that, you want to sweat, you want to clean up your diet, and we do have a free cookbook because you're really limiting yourself on the meat, the sugar, the carbs, and dairy, anything that's going to feed them, because we're trying to starve them in order to weaken them and then come in and attack them with the herbs. So the best you can do to clean up your diet, get your pathways open, and make sure that you're feeling your best. And then you can go in and start to attack them.
Okay, great. Okay, so if you don't sweat, like I have issue with sweating. I mean, I have a sauna that I one of these that portable ones that I have, but I don't know if it's just my lymphatic system that's just blocked, and I don't know what's the best way to get that going. Is it just like rebounding or?
It can be mitochondria too, because the mitochondria make ATP, which equal energy, which equal heat. So, sometimes really moving out in the sunlight can help recharge the mitochondria. I don't know if it's cold where you're at, but if it is, we've got a problem right now. I understand.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm in Texas, so it's
yeah,
pretty.
and really, the more you get in the sauna, the more you can trigger that pathway open,
Oh,
slowly but surely. And th doing things like drinking ginger tea beforehand helps to turn on the sweat pathway even more.
okay, great. I just got some ginger tea today, so that's
Yeah,
good.
do it right before you get in the sauna or sweat. It really
Okay,
does help open that pathway up.
okay, awesome. And then as far as the coffee enemas, I mean, is it something recommended to help with while doing a parasite cleanse to help them come out, or and if so, I mean, what is the safe number of times to do it if you do coffee
Mhm.
enemas?
So I used to do coffee enemas as a nursing therapist with people who had cancer, and they could do up to 5 per day, but we were replenishing with juices. So I would say you really don't want to do more than maybe 2 or 3 a week because you don't want to lose minerals. So, yeah, coffee enemas are great to put people into rest and digest, and they're great for detoxing and production of bile and things like that. Yeah, they're great for that. They actually help with the cleansing.
Okay, well, great. I was
Yeah.
just concerned because I didn't know if you do it too much, if it would stop you from just having that natural, you know, urge to go. Like, would it, if you do too many, like say 2 to 3, could it cause you to not be able to just poop naturally on your own?
No, it shouldn't do that. Everyone
Okay,
should be able to return to normal whenever they stop the enemas, as long as you're eating properly.
okay, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Thank you. That was my questions. I appreciate it.
No problem. Good luck, Lynn.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Kim, it's your turn.
I'm not sure which Kim. Is it Kim? Hi.
Yeah, it's you. You're right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on school pickup right now. But I've literally done everything as far as like detoxing and everything, but I've never done a parasite cleanse. And I have migraines that are rearing their ugly head that they say are hormonal. My hormone testing comes back normal. As you know, everything, like I've taken everything under the sun. Um, but I just recently did a heavy metals test and my lead was really, really high.
What
And
was what was high?
my lead,
Oh, lead. Okay.
yeah. And then, so my doctor did a blood test after because I had done like a urine test. And he's like, well, it's not high in your blood. And that's what I would be most concerned about. So I was also concerned, like, would it be showing lead because the parasites are releasing heavy metals, or you say they eat them?
They
I'm
usually
just
help
kind of
digest them.
digest them.
So
So,
if someone's high in
um,
heavy metals, that would be a reason for them to have parasites.
okay. And are migraines something that could be from parasites? Sorry, I'm having a hard time focusing. I have so many
That's
kids screaming around
okay.
me.
That's okay. Yes, that could definitely be from a lack of minerals and parasites, both
Okay.
of which often go together.
Okay. And with like I have right-sided pain that I've had a HIDA scan, I've had ultrasounds, I've had all the things, and there's nothing conclusive for like liver or gallbladder, but I constantly have pain there. Would that also be would that
Yeah, I would suggest getting not just a conventional hormonal test because those docs usually don't know how to read hormones. If you do you
okay.
have a functional doctor?
I do.
Okay, did they do something like the Dutch test for you or urine
They
hormone
have
test?
I didn't do a Dutch test yet. That was the next thing on my list, but I've
Yeah.
just spent so much money
The reason I
doing all these things.
The reason I say that is because the heaviness you feel in the right upper quadrant could also be estrogen dominance. This causing thickened
Okay.
bile,
Okay.
which is the number one reason people have their gallbladders out is being in flight or fight or having an estrogen dominance.
Okay.
The other thing is, that could definitely be what's causing some of your other symptoms too, like the migraines.
Uh-huh.
And then, I don't know if your cycles are bad or anything, that obviously that's a symptom too. But definitely parasites can cause migraines too. I've seen
Okay.
that happen because they get in the liver.
Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty.
So
Sorry, I'm kind of scattered. I wish I had my thoughts all collected and of
that's
course bell
okay.
rang and here I am. But thank you for your time and
Yeah, no
I
problem,
appreciate
Kim.
it.
Good
Thanks for the
luck.
information. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Shannon, hi.
Hi. So
Hi.
I've been on a call before and I'm the one that mentioned that I've had like parasites, molds. I lost my voice the last call, so I couldn't talk. I could only message. But now I
Mm,
have it back and I've had multiple parasites come up on my stool test. Like the most recent is Ascaris lambroides, and then
oh boy.
I have a tapeworm from fish. And I got the Parafy because Dr. Jess, you recommended not doing herbs because I had to do like 2 or 3 rounds of albendazole, and then I had to take another prescription parasite
Yeah.
medication because I had a lot, and I've taken like Flagyl and all of that stuff for my parasites. For the Parafy cleanse, if we don't have gutty, can we just start it without it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Use just an extra. It's not something that's mandatory for a pre-cleanse. It'll help with mucoid plaque and binding, and it's just a good way to get your colon ready. But if you have Parafy, just start it.
Okay. Perfect. I think that's it.
Good
Thank you.
luck, Shannon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Dr. Jess.
Hi.
I am a Wellness Plus member. I'm just wondering if we can ask Wellness Plus questions or if it's just straight to parasites.
No, you can ask a Wellness Plus question. That's okay.
Okay, number one, Mrs. Rogers, what's the shower filter that you have? I need this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's great. I have a couple of different ones that I really like, and I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, but I live in Seattle, and let me tell you, our water's terrible here. Like it's
Mm.
dark brown. I actually live in a brand new building, and it's still gross and brown, so I know it's not the plumbing. I have two different type of filters that I use. I use a 5 micron small filter And then I have another 1 micron that has add back minerals in it because when you pull everything out, your skin's gonna respond poorly, your hair's gonna get dry.
So
So
I
any
have what's that thing called? A water softener attached to it. So I don't know what shower filter to get, but I think I've filtered my water, but just not my shower. That's just something I just thought of to do.
even if you have a water softener, you're gonna be stripping everything when you go into a 5 micron or smaller. So you have to have another filter that adds
Okay.
back.
So
So
what's the brand?
If you go into Amazon and
Okay.
you type in shower filter 5 micron, it will pull up and there'll be a couple of different ones. And it's just some brand. Like, let me find what the brand is, the name of the brand. And also, it's in my link tree, my Amazon storefront too. So, 1 second. Filters. But if you put a filter like this on your filter, even though you have the softener, it's going to strip everything. So, it is ZHYUUAX.
Hmm.
And it's a 1 micron washing machine if you want to type that in. I don't recommend putting it on a washer. We had it on a washer, it broke, and it flooded our apartment in 4 floors. So I don't recommend putting it on the washer unless you are present while it's going.
No, I have a SIRS, so I'm not about to do that.
Well, I recommend doing a whole house filter, really, if you own a home.
I'm renting, so I just wanted
Hmm.
a basic shower filter, the one that I'm in. Is
Yeah,
there like, do you just add the 5 micron with the 1 micron? Is that what you're recommending to do?
that's what I do because our water's so terrible here.
I'm
It,
in Toronto, Canada,
okay.
the east.
So I definitely would put this on your shower, the one that I said to go and look on Amazon and put that on your shower. It's gonna have minerals in it, so it'll add back some minerals, so you're not gonna be depleted with your hair and your skin and be all dry.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Also, I'm on ULT and I can't handle the tart cherry.
Ah, what
Now,
happened?
I have SIRS. I could never handle melatonin. And somebody once told me melatonin would give me the same thing. I would wake up really nauseous, have
Mm.
flu-like symptoms, and I would wake up every hour. I even tried the spray that you recommended to do every hour on the melatonin. Couldn't do it. Can't do melatonin. I can handle hemp salve, rest by Mary's,
Yep.
Healing Cave Ladies. That's like the best thing I've used. So I kind of swapped out doing that instead of the tart cherry because I would have the opposite effect. Now, I don't know if it's nervous system dysregulation or if it's maybe my liver can't process it, fast acting melatonin. Maybe is the tart cherry melatonin.
Well, it potentiates melatonin in the body.
Mm,
Yeah. So that's definitely what it's doing. It should be making you make your own though. But
no, I couldn't sleep for 3 years. I have SIRS.
oh,
Um, I
yeah.
lived in a moldy home with a hertz me of 40 and my majority of my life. So I didn't sleep 3 years solid. So I tried melatonin a bunch and I think it just kept giving me, it might be, I don't know what's happening, but
Have you ever tried what happens if you take GABA?
GABA, I think it was fine. They didn't really work. Nothing worked until I got out of the
Mm.
mold. I
Okay.
haven't tried it now. I think there's GABA in the rest supplement. So it's the perfect mix, Mary's stuff. But the tart cherry, it's keeping me awake. So I don't know if I should do nervous system dysregulation first.
I
And
would, mold causes nervous system dysregulation. It also, um, you know, I think people could get worse mold symptoms if they're in flight or fight too. So it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. But yeah, even mast cell and histamine stuff, the number one and number two reasons I see for it are nervous system dysregulation and mold, for
so
sure.
should I just eliminate it entirely or smaller doses? I just don't want to stay awake with it. It's doing the opposite.
I would definitely stop it if it's doing that to you right
Yeah,
now.
I had the intuition to stop it completely, but I know
Yeah.
antioxidants help mold, right? So I'm
They
just,
do, they do. But I would, look at other things to kind of calm you down at night, like liposomal GABA by Quicksilver Scientific or SAMe Or
I did. I found the other supplements I have work better than that tart cherry. The tart cherry, I can't handle melatonin. That's
that's
the only
okay.
supplement I've ever been able not to handle. So
That's okay. Honestly, it's okay right now. And make sure you're wearing yellow blue blocker glasses after 2 p.m. And
okay.
then after when the sun goes down, get red blue blocker
You
glasses.
recommended a neurofeedback program before because I had a lot of traumatic brain injuries. I think it
Yes,
was
Apex
twice
Brain
a day.
Clinic in Asheville, North Carolina.
Apex. Okay. And then I think you said twice a day. If I go with another clinic, is it any machine that you can use or?
It's not twice a day. You go from like 9 to 2 for a week.
Oh,
Yeah. It's actually in Asheville. You'd have to go. Like, I think
okay.
that's what
So
you're
I
talking
can't
about.
just do neurofeedback here.
No, it was actually like a whole program, not just neurofeedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely look into it. And then how do I incorporate ULT with Mrs. Rogers? Because I'm already on the ULT.
So ULT, just so you know, Kim, is like a green shake in the morning with a lot of different nutrients and reconstituted live food. It's got amino acids as the, breakdown building block of protein. It's got its own parasite cleanse in there. So I would just kind of replace that parasite cleanse or incorporate that parasite cleanse with the Parafy kit. And they have instructions in ULT about when to do the parasite cleanse. So I would just swap that out.
Yeah.
So what about the binder that comes? Because I already have, so I started ULT, but I also had Mrs. Rogers as well. Like I have a pack, but I'm just wondering because I'm done the ULT parasite ones. I wanted to incorporate the Mrs. Rogers into it for like the next month.
Oh, I see. So I would you can really incorporate it whenever, just when you do the second parasite cleanse.
Do I
Yeah.
avoid the binder from Mrs. Rogers and take because there's the biomedic.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Biomedic's more like humic acid and some other ingredients that helps. It's got third-party human studies that it removes glyphosate. So you could actually do both of them because the biomedic works a different way and it's not going to constipate you any more than any other binder.
Okay, can I
You
take
know?
them together or do I just take them at separate times
No,
away
you can
from?
Because
take them together.
we're charcoal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would take us like with nothing else because
Hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So separate them. But I can add that many binders together, even though it's like,
Yeah, the biomedic is not so much a binder, it's pulling glyphosate. So it's a little bit different.
okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much.
yeah, no problem. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, let's see here. Just a second. My computer is doing something crazy right now, guys. Sorry. Okay. CL, you're next.
Hi. I'm also a Wellness Plus member. I have kind of through like 2022, well, mostly 2023 did like went through all the cell core phases through like 4B. I stopped right before 5. And I was working with like a functional medicine doctor. My 2024 has just been terrible in like so many different ways. Um, and so just like a lot of sleep deprivation, but I do sleep really well. But like, I mean, I'm not exercising. Like have a history of living in mold for more or less 10 years in all these different homes. We finally got our home remediated only to have some new leaks that we now need testing for again. So joy. But I have a lot of like just immune suppression, I think, from all the mold. Like my white count is low, my neutrophils are low, my CD57 is low. I'm the one that catches all the germs and like spent, basically since like October through all of December, just ill, like every other day, for days on end, right? Like I'm just like struggling hardcore, right? And so I finally my functional medicine doctor had like wanted to do LCAT food testing for like micronutrients and antioxidant assay and all those things. And so I had stopped all my supplements to like see, where am I at baseline without taking a million different things. And then I think that was probably the wrong move because it was cold and flu season. So I caught all the germs. And so I started going back on everything and like throughout December, I just added more back and started feeling better. But then, so one of the chaotic things that happened was we got a German Shepherd puppy who accidentally bit me on Sunday. And I'm like, oh no, I'm immune compromised. It's a really like shallow, kind of more of a scrape instead of like a deep puncture wound. But I'm just like, I want to do parasite cleansing. I want to do all the right things. But like, urgent care, of course, like I was already ill, so I had a 100.3 um like temperature, and then they gave me a Tdap booster because I was due. They gave me augmenting antibiotics, which I took 2 doses of, and then kind of I feel like intuitively the wound looks fine, and so I stopped it. Because I was just like reading like, oh, like you shouldn't, get vaccinated if you're already ill, which I was. You shouldn't take antibiotics around the time that you are vaccinated, which I was prescribed. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, should I hold off on Parafy? Should I go back on Cellcore? Like I have Cellcore phase 5, but my functional medicine doctor was like, you are too depleted to go and do all of phase 5 right now. So I'm like, where do I pick up in like my
I mean,
cleanse?
it sounds like you've been detoxing for a while. I would work more on foundational things right now before you go back to the cleansing again. I think I would work on like replenishing mineral supplies and remineralizing and working on nervous system dysregulation and calming down. And you know what I mean? I think I
Yeah.
would work more on that right now. And then maybe after a few months, you can go back and try Parafy. But I would, no protocol will stick until your autonomic nervous system is balanced.
Mm. Okay, so
That's what I've learned over the years, sadly.
so for now, because of everything, just like because I've been doing like immune supporting, things to help me get over various things faster. So like continue with those and antioxidants and just kind of like sauna. Like I have a sauna, so just like kind of loving my body in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Just remember that, d don't overdo it. You can really strip minerals in the sauna. You can
Mm.
really strip minerals with binders. So you don't want to be doing them long term. You want to be fortifying as well, building things up. And a lot of times people are sick because their vitamin D is low. They're not able to absorb and assimilate because they're in flight or fight. So I would just say make sure all that's taken care of. And then as long as you can have that, you can do the other baseline things for
Okay.
sure.
So CT
Yeah.
minerals ideally, or is there another like refortifying supplement that you really like?
I like Divine E. This is the one I take, but
I don't
it's
see
out
it.
of stock
I'll
right
probably
now.
take it. I'm gonna check in the
Oh,
Toyota.
I'm sorry, you're not on mute island. So this is the one I take, and it's unfortunately out of stock right now. But when they're back in stock, that's a good one too with all the minerals. But there are a number of different ones. Just make sure, CT minerals is great too. Just make sure that you can absorb capsules, okay? Because I really never prescribe anyone more than 7 things at once.
Uh, I'm
Ever,
yeah,
ever.
a lot. It's like, all the
No.
like antioxidants and immune supporting larch and C and D and glutathione.
Your body
Girl,
can't process all those capsules. It can't do that. Yeah,
thank you so much, Dr. Jess.
you're welcome, Elle. I
I
hope you feel better.
I scheduled a one-on-one consult that when I was able to get was next week. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like kind of that nervous system panicking, like what do I do for the next 10 days?
It's okay. Just you're safe. Just keep telling your body you're safe. You're safe. I'm safe. I'm okay. This is a great thing to say to your guys' bodies if you're in fight or fight. I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's good. Make sure you breathe in the back of your back. It's really important.
Through all this, like my paranoia for some reason is like, oh my gosh, is this gonna give me cancer?
Yes, that's what I mean. Stuff like that, like the doomsday thinking, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It lowers your immune system, and it makes you feel bad, and it's not good for you. I mean, I'm speaking to myself too, so don't worry, right? So just keep that in mind too.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, you're so very welcome. Good luck. All right. I know we have some questions in the chat, you guys. Kim, I actually have another consult in about 10 minutes, so I can't stay on very much longer with everyone. But Kim, a few people in the chat have asked, have you had any issues with people with high histamine with the Parafy kit?
I mean, yes, but not where they would stop.
Okay. Yeah. And I often wonder if it's like a little bit of a die-off reaction or something like that too.
Yeah. And it's kicking up some spores. I mean,
Yeah,
you're going through a few things that your body is going to regulate better, in my opinion.
for sure. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. You have to feel kind of safe in your body and your environment, or anything you put inside your body, your body will view as a foreign intruder.
Mhm.
Hi, Bree. Do you have a question? Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. So I had a bunch of dental work done last year. I had like four infected root canals and I had cavitations. And when they did that scraping where they could check like the biofilm under the microscope, they found a lot of spirochetes. But I had all that dental work done and I've been having issues. With shortness of breath and like pain under my left side. And I do know when they had done an ultrasound just to see if it was something, they said it was costochondritis, but it hasn't really been healing, that I have a fatty liver. So I know I need to detox. So this is what I would start with, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure first and foremost that, you're not living in a moldy house or water damaged house. You want to make sure your nervous system is set and you want to make sure your drainage is open. So,
Okay.
you can poop okay, you can sweat okay, your liver and bile are okay. And I think Kim, don't you, I know I have some drainage stuff on Wellness Plus. I think you also have some information on drainage as well for the kit.
I
So
do.
we can help walk you through that a little bit more. But yeah, if that's all taken care of, then we definitely recommend starting with parasites.
Mhm.
Okay. And then, like she said, the binder's included in the kit, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then should we be taking and I did get a sauna, but I haven't set it up yet. Is I saw on somebody else's thing about glutathione. Is that necessary to take when doing the sauna?
Not necessary to take at all.
Okay.
That's completely up to you. That just is a antioxidant that helps the liver function a little bit better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's all. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then what this might be for Kim also. Is it okay to do like I'm gonna it's 30 days and I know I'm gonna be traveling the beginning of February. Is there an issue doing the detox the protocol kit when you're traveling?
No, there's no issue. You might not feel the greatest on some of
Right.
those days, but no,
Okay.
you can travel with it. It'll make it through TSA with
Okay. Okay.
too.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank
Abs-
you.
Absolutely. Okay, just a couple more questions in the chat. Can you take a binder in the kit if you have breast implants? Yes, you can. That should not be a problem. Does Cinnabin bind to all toxins, mold, heavy metals, and other chemicals?
Yes, it will bind. Make sure you discontinue it if you stop pooping because charcoal can do that to people. So it has cinnamon is just Ceylon cinnamon and coconut activated charcoal put in a pill form. Yeah.
Very
So
cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think that is all I see. Oh, the last question here. Someone is asking if how many minutes apart do you need to take supplements from prescription medications, like supplements like Parafy?
usually we recommend 30 minutes to an hour. So if you're taking like a thyroid med, you follow that instruction. Then you take ours, then you wait 30 minutes to an hour, and then you can take the rest of your supplements.
Amazing. Yes, the recording will be available to you guys. I believe that's why we recorded it. I think that's why Deb made me record it. So, yes, there will be. Also, Kim, where can people find you once this is over?
You can find me on Mrs. Rogers Hood on Instagram. You can find me on Mrs. Rogers Hood on TikTok, and my website is rogershood.com.
Amazing. And she's got a lot of free information for you guys so you can understand how to use the kit and how to get the most out of your kit and parasite cleansing in general, how often, what to look for, roadblocks, all that kind of stuff. It's really, really helpful. For those of you who are not Wellness Plus members, You can see we get to know them pretty well on our forum and everywhere else. You can join Wellness Plus with the code Parasites. Parasites, and you get a free course credit. So that means you get a free course for parasites, as well as my handpicked protocol for that too. And of course, Rogers Hood is included in that. So, yeah, you guys. So I hope you love talking to Kim and I. You got some more information that you may have not known before. Kim, do we have a code for everyone for the Parafy kit?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Dr. Jess.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, so if you guys want to use Dr. Jess, then that's my code for the Parafy kit. And we will save this for you guys if you want to go back and watch it later. But thanks for being here live with us. I really enjoyed getting to know some of you guys, and I enjoyed some of the thoughtful questions too. I'm glad we did the Q&A 30 minutes in, Kim, because we had a lot of questions. So
Thanks for having me.
it's always my pleasure. You're great. You're great to interview, and you have a wonderful information for everyone. So thanks for coming, everybody. Happy 2025, and we'll see you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye.